You got to kick it off with a killer to grab attention. Then you got to take it up a notch.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us.
Who are you? I'm Shiva, the god of death.
Cells. Interlinked.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
I was like, do you have the dog? Is the dog here?
Oh, no, I don't have Snoop. I'm sorry.
Fuck.
No Snoop.
No Snoop. I hate that fucking song, dude.
Yeah.
I hate that song. I was nonplussed that it was it was going
when it won Best Adapted Screenplay. They played that as they walked up on stage.
Did they really? Oh
yeah.
My fucking god.
Folks, welcome to Debaser, a film podcast. I'm Jared Rusk, and I'm joined by my co-host, Will.
Big money, no whammies.
On this show, we explore both new and familiar movies as we attempt to analyze and interpret them, all in an effort to debase the films and ourselves. And today we are covering Anatomy of a Fall. And if you've seen the film, you're going to get why I played that. That excellent instrumental steel drum version of PIMP.
Yeah, you might be thinking to yourself, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I follow, I'm friends with a guy who like follows the Oscars very closely, but he actually just missed like Anatomy of a Fall. He had seen most of the nominations, but he had missed it. And he was very confused as to why, when they walked up to accept Best Adapted Screenplay for this film, why they played that. And he just started laughing, and he's like, why are they playing like an instrumental 50 Cent song? And I was like, oh, you need to see the movie, my man.
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, really?
You need to watch this shit. That's so fucking funny, dude.
So Anatomy of a Fall is a French film that was released last summer, 2023.
Mm-hmm.
The film is available to rent or purchase on VOD. And the film stars, please forgive me if I fuck up these names.
You tried it last time too.
Yeah, when I was going over, for the best of. The film stars Sandra Hüller.
Hüller. It's got the umlaut.
Hüller.
It's got the umlaut under above the U. So it's Hüller.
Just like Ferris Bueller. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Swan Arlaud as Vincent, the attorney, and Milo Machado Grenier as Daniel, the son.
Mm-hmm. And Messi.
Oh, and Messi as Snoop, the
Snoop.
dog.
Yes.
Perhaps the best canine of the year.
Dude, perhaps the best canine of our lifetime.
Maybe the best performance.
Yes.
This year as well. I
Agreed.
mean, good Lord.
Yeah, you're not fucking kidding.
Not a meme. People keep talking about this, and when I saw the movie, I get it now.
you and Courtney kept fucking saying something like about that. I was like, what the fuck is with this dog? I get it now.
And that when you see the scene, you're just like, Jesus Christ. Because
yeah.
I had heard all of it before I saw the movie, and even halfway through the movie, I'm like, okay, why does everyone love this dog?
Yeah,
this dog had barely any screen time.
That's literally what it was. That was me, dude. It was me.
The official synopsis of the film is: a woman is suspected of murder after her husband's death. Their half-blind son faces a moral dilemma as the main witness. Now, if you have not seen this film and you are intrigued, pause the podcast, go check it out. We're going to spoil it.
Yeah.
It's impossible not to.
Yes.
Talking around it would be impossible or frustrating. But we are going to give away the plot.
Yeah, the plot's gone, dude.
Yeah. Now, Anatomy of a Fall was written by Justine Triet and Arthur Harai. Her apologies to that man, I'm sure.
Sorry.
And it was directed by Justine Triet. The film was inspired partly by the Amanda Knox case. Will, do you know anything about that?
I don't. I do not know the Amanda Knox case.
It was a very messy and very public...
Messi the dog?
No. But a very highly publicized case in Italy in which an American woman, Amanda Knox, was wrongfully convicted for murdering her roommate and was acquitted nearly 4 years later.
Oh, it's wild. What?
Courtney texted me to play the instrumental. Justine Triet's other films include Sybil and In Bed with Victoria. I've seen neither of these films. I've signed neither.
I think I've seen Sybil, actually.
Really?
I think I have.
I don't really have a plot synopsis in front of me.
It's okay.
I
feel like I've seen it.
Okay.
I'll look it up real quick.
We're going to work through this movie. It's an excellent movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
Again.
Yeah. Oh, actually,
check it out.
Hold on real quick. So, I had a disclaimer because I watched this on the plane.
Okay.
Right. and it was all in French. But I saw this one. Did this movie win the Palme d'Or?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
The movie's actually mostly in English.
I know, but
Okay.
For whatever reason, the disclaimer that I had at the beginning of the film that talked about it winning the Palme d'Or at Cannes was all in French. And I only recognize Cannes and Palme d'Or. And it's like, oh, hey.
Well, because that's not English.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I know those. I know what this is, and I tried to remember what you guys had said about it, but it was so weird that it was like right at the beginning of the film. I was like, what the fuck is this? It's so weird. Yeah. And I didn't also realize that while I was watching the movie, there was a guy that was watching the exact same movie, but maybe like 5 minutes faster, like a couple rows in front of me, because I was finishing up Blackberry on the plane, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a silly thing. Like, if I'm really bored here, I can kind of like glimpse the future and put two and two together. Yeah. So I wanted to say that before we start talking about this movie.
That's such a cool phenomenon to be like, there's someone living my future.
It's
a few rows ahead.
It's fucking weird, dude.
Okay, so at her remote French home, novelist Sandra Voiter is forced to reschedule her interview with a young college student as her husband, Samuel, is loudly playing the instrumental version of 50 Cent's P.I.M.P. while working on renovations upstairs. Their son, Daniel, then goes for a walk and returns home to find his father, Samuel, dead from an apparent fall.
Bum, bum, bum.
Cue the title.
Anatomy of a Fall. And then that's how the movie ends. And
we never know.
We have no idea
what happens.
My favorite thing about that PIMP thing, and I know this is jumping way ahead, but like listening to the French guy say it in French, PIMP,
the fucking prosecutor, who is like
the worst human being,
sniveling little piece of shit. Yeah. You're just like, what a piece. He's serving such a C word. I don't even want to say it, God. Yeah. So that's the premise. So afterwards, Sandra hires, her former lover.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did these two used to date?
I think in college. I think they're old college, like.
I mean, I get it. He's cute.
Ex-boyfriend, girlfriend.
He is so cute.
So he's kind of been a heartthrob ever since this movie.
I don't fucking doubt it. You know what's funny is like when she's like, I can't trust a person if I can't put an animal's head on.
That's a cute little conversation.
I was like, he's clearly a fox.
Yeah,
he's got like all those pointed features, and he's such a cute little dude.
Yeah. But yeah, he's great. The way he just shows up and just starts cooking for them, and like he believes her and everything. But, so anyway, she hires her former lover, Vincent, as her defense attorney, as she is being charged with homicide for the death of her husband. Sandra and Daniel give statements to the detectives and later to the court with occasional conflicts, which the prosecution leans on to prove their case. Additionally, it is discovered that Samuel recorded an argument between he and Sandra the day before his death. That revelation is huge.
Yeah.
They tease it early on.
Yeah.
They reference it.
I remember like it was a year later.
It's the impetus for her getting arrested.
Oh, was that really?
Yeah, because and then they post bail for her afterwards. Oh. But when they actually fucking
play it,
cut to it. And then we don't, because this movie is very important not to do flashbacks.
Right.
It instead does reenactments, but like from the perspective of the person telling it, which is so smart.
Yeah,
this movie is amazing at doling out information just enough to keep you guessing. It's never giving you enough to sway you all the way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just doing enough to make you second guess your previous assumption. Like it's so smart about that, because this movie is. I was reading people trying to describe it as like a whodunit or a murder mystery. Excuse me, I got that switch.
Sure.
And it's not. It actually tries to smartly be actually a deconstruction of a marriage while keeping you guessing about who is guilty.
Yeah, I can see that.
I love it. It's fascinating.
Maybe that wasn't the way for me, because like
no.
I believed her 100% from like the get.
So I was frequently on her side, but also I was frequently being swayed too by thinking, whoa, wait a minute now.
What arguments were swaying you? Hold on, are you going to do like a whole breakdown? Are we jumping?
I'm probably jumping the gun here.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, that was my bad. That was my bad.
No, it's fine. We do this.
It's true. We do this.
We're also being a little loopy because we may have lost an episode. So apologies if we are a little despondent too.
We're never going to get it back.
The best podcasts have their like lost episodes. Blank Check famously lost their Batman v Superman episode, and they never wanted to do it again because they hated that movie.
Oh, I don't blame them for that.
And they were like, "That movie is so long, and our episode was 3 hours long, and we were miserable. We're not recording it again."
Record it. Oh shit.
Yeah. What ended up happening was like years and years later, the producer was like, "I'm just going to try and fix the audio that I have," and like he was able to make it.
Oh, they still have it.
Okay. Yeah. But it sounded like shit because the mics weren't set up right or something.
I gotcha.
But in our case,
we just didn't record it.
I don't think we hit record.
Rest in peace, Blackberry. Hey, if we never talk about it again, go watch that movie. It's really good.
I might do a follow-up episode with Courtney.
You should. I think you should.
When you're unavailable.
Yeah, I think you should.
Anyway. So the prosecution claims that Sandra fought with Samuel, leading her to strike and then push him off the second-story railing of their home. Now, I do find this implausible.
Same.
I was already on the defense's side because I found their idea more plausible. Sandra's defense claims that Samuel fell from the attic window, either accidentally or purposefully, and struck his head on a shed below the window. During the trial, we learned many things about Sandra and Samuel's relationship, including that Daniel was rendered mostly blind after a car accident, which occurred when Samuel could not pick him up from school one afternoon. Sandra's defense argues that this event led to Samuel becoming depressed and even attempting suicide via overdosing on aspirin months earlier.
Although they tried not to bring that up in court.
Exactly. And Sandra did not make the connection at the time either. She realizes it while she's preparing for the court.
Yeah.
The prosecution posits that Sandra plagiarized Samuel's writings for her own because she's a more successful novelist.
Mm-hmm.
Samuel, not so much. But it's also because he's like dedicated time to educating his son and renovating this house to be in B&B.
I think there was a breaking point because they were both working on something and he like had this idea, but he wasn't able to finish it.
And he sat on it for years.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Can I use this in my novel?"
This is inspiring.
And then it becomes part of their fight later.
Yes.
It's very
He's
messy.
very resentful for it.
Clearly. Yeah. But the prosecution uses that as proof that like she ripped him off and like maybe that's why she wanted to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And that she blamed him for Daniel's accident and reveals that she also cheated on him with other women.
Multiple times.
She is bisexual.
She was a
eats hot
bisexual.
chip and she lies.
That's right. She lied.
And all of this contributed to the fight and ultimately Samuel's death. Now, the revelation in court of Samuel's supposed suicide attempt leads Daniel. So also I should break down here. Sandra has asked her son Daniel, like, she's like, "Hey, I don't think you should be here." And also the judge.
I was going to say, yeah, it wasn't just her.
The judge actually pulls him aside and was like, "I don't want you
tomorrow. We're going to go over some serious stuff, and I don't want you to be here."
Right. And he starts advocating for himself. He's like, "No, I want to hear all of this. I'm either going to hear it from kids at school or from the news. Anyway, you might as well let me hear it first person.
Yeah.
So that I can assess it for myself."
Mm-hmm.
And I was really shocked at like how well and articulate this kid is able to like advocate for himself at like 12.
I want to say in my opinion, he's like 14, but
yeah, he's playing 13, maybe 14 at most. Yeah. At most.
I can't remember if there was like, I don't remember them giving us a timeline because he was partially blind at the age of 4.
Yeah. He was very young when he was struck.
Yes.
And that happened.
And I don't remember like how long they've been together, and I don't know where it happened. I don't know if that was in London, and then that was like what caused him to move back to Sam's hometown. I can't quite remember exactly if that was even said, like how old he was said.
Right.
But it doesn't really matter.
And those are kind of superfluous details.
Yeah. I'm glad that he was able to advocate for himself, but I'm pretty sure he fucking like regrets it initially.
Well, like I think he made a great point. Like he's going to learn it either way.
Sure.
Either through the tabloids or from kids telling him at school or teasing him about it at school and shit. Because like it's true. Like you can't put your head in the sand about this stuff. But like at the same time, like his mom Sandra like breaks down about it and she's like, "It's going to make you grow up so fast. Like it's stuff that you don't need to know." Basically, and it's like it's stuff you don't want to know about your parents.
You don't want to you don't want to be around when your parents are fighting. You don't want to
and it's just truths about them that you don't want to be confronted with, especially that young.
Well, you know what that makes me think about, not to derail us too hard, but, you know, Chuck Palahniuk has that one line, I want to say in Choke, where when we look at our parents at a young age, we see them as gods, infallible, you know, these pillars of which we build our own life upon, these idols that we look up to. And then the day that you grow up and realize that they barely function, they barely, you know, are able to take care of themselves, let alone you, like you become
ungovernable.
Become ungovernable. I don't know how he ends the quote, but it just anytime there's something like that where like this is going to make you grow up really fast, or you're going to see who I am as a person. It just always brings me back to Choke. Yeah, even though I didn't read it.
Oh, you never read that?
No, I watched the movie. Haley really liked Chuck Palahniuk's writing. So she shared with me.
I binged a lot of his books.
Gotcha. Do you not know that quote?
In high school. It's been since high school.
I got you.
I did Survivor, Choke, Fight Club, of course. Invisible Monsters, Guts, and I'm probably what's the one with the guy that would time travel by putting the Christmas tree with all the lights and stuff on his car?
Oh my god, I
Rant.
Yeah,
I think that was Rant.
Yeah,
I did a lot of them.
I gotcha.
He's weird now.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm very weird. That was I was like a little tepid on saying. I said his name and then you didn't give me a look, so I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna keep going.
No. I will always love my time that I spent with his writings,
right? And
also like Fight Club, the book, kind of brought my wife and I together.
Gotcha.
Like we were both really big. Like I introduced her to it because she had. I think I heard her quote the movie, and I like walked over and like was like, "Have you read that book?" And I like offered it. I like lent it to her, and that's like a part of our like the story of our relationship now. Yeah. And like it's a great book. Like there's problems in it, but like I think also when you look at it as like this is a closeted man trying to come to terms with that. And it like wasn't revealed until even way after the book came out, you know, like it's part of his story now. Like it's a really fascinating part of that truth, you know, of him.
Yeah.
But you know, Kanye's the same way. Like I love Kanye's music from a certain period.
Yeah, I understand.
And have I been a fan of him in the last 5 or so years?
No.
He's gone on. Things have happened.
You live long enough to see your heroes become the villain.
Exactly. I don't know to the full extent of what Chuck's deal is, but I understand that he pals around with white supremacists. He has been on the Joe Rogan show, which in itself is not objectionable, but like it's a slippery slope kind of thing, you know?
I get it.
Yeah.
Instead of reading Chuck Palahniuk, you should read Chuck Tingle.
Who's that?
The guy who wrote "I Was Pounded in the Butt by My Butt" and other crazy books.
Okay,
like Taken by the Allosaurus. It's that guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not familiar with that.
You're gonna be a buckaroo one of these days. All right. So took us down a path that we shouldn't have gone. That's my bad. I'm so sorry.
No, we love tangents on this show.
Let's go back.
It is that kind of show.
It is that kind. This is true.
Okay. Where did we leave off?
How Daniel advocated for himself to hear all of the stuff first person.
To hear all of this and
how his mother was like, this is not good. It's not good for you.
Both her and the judge are like, this is bad.
Yeah.
But he advocates for himself and they decide to let him stay. Now, the revelation in court of Samuel's supposed suicide attempt leads Daniel to experiment at home to test his mother's credibility.
I need to pause you right here,
yeah,
because this was the hardest thing to watch in this movie.
It's rough.
I was furious.
I was
Jared. I was
shocked. Yeah, my mouth was agape.
Yeah, I was so fucking mad in that airplane. I was like, this little fucking kid is gonna kill this goddamn dog. And like, I didn't understand why he was doing it.
Exactly. He doesn't explain until after the fact. And I was like, is he so wound up by this that he's trying to kill his dog? Yeah. That's where my mind went at first. And I was like, oh my God, is he just like pissed off and trying to kill the dog?
Yeah, dude. I'm almost positive I said something audibly on the fucking plane.
Because I was like,
I was so mad.
What if the son killed the dad and now we're seeing him be a serial killer? You know, like my mind was going so many places.
I didn't go that far. But still, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, don't do that to that dog. But then obviously this is the part where everybody's like, this dog is a great actor. And it is. How the fuck do you have anything in there that tells us how
There's no secret behind the magic.
You're fucking kidding me.
I have lots of trivia for this movie, but nothing about how that dog incredibly played off, like almost dying, basically. And like the film was supervised by like the respective agencies.
Yeah. So,
you know?
Jared, go ahead and read what happens.
Yeah, let me explain to the audience what happens.
I want to pause you because, like, you know, I worked at a vet.
Right.
I've seen this.
Oh, God.
So go ahead. You do.
Yeah. Okay. So Daniel overhears in court that his father committed suicide attempted suicide, by overdosing on aspirin.
Yeah.
And so he noticed that his dog was acting sluggish and sick that same day that this allegedly happened. So to test this theory, Daniel feeds Snoop a large dose of aspirin from his father's medicine cabinet. And the dog reacts in the same way it had previously, which causes Daniel to believe the dog ate some of his father's vomit that day, and proves to him that his father was suicidal and that his mother was telling the truth. Now, this happens in a very emotional scene where after he feeds all the aspirin to the dog then is being very lethargic and sick, and he becomes very worried, starts crying, is trying to wake the dog up and get it to drink water. The court-appointed minder, Marge, comes running in and is like, what's wrong? And he's like, I fed the dog too much aspirin. Please, like, we have to, like, save it.
We got to save this fucking dog.
Yeah, and they are able to save the dog.
Yeah, this dog was rigid.
Yeah.
His tongue was out. His eyes rolled back in his head. I have seen dogs have seizures before, and it is not fun. And so, like, that's what I saw on the film, and I thought to myself, what did they do to make this dog look and act like he is straight up out of his mind having a fucking seizure?
Could it have been a mix of like puppetry and the real dog?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Was it all one take? I don't even remember.
A lot of the camera over Daniel's shoulder.
Yeah.
Was that dog's face.
Yeah.
And you can see his eyes unfocused, pupils like totally dilated.
Yeah.
You know, the tongue is out and like staying out, and he's not like breathing to keep it out and stuff. Even like them getting him to vomit, like the dog is vomiting.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what they did. I have no idea what they did, unless the dog suffers from seizures, and they were just like, okay, let's just wait for him to have a fucking seizure, and then do this take really fast. But even then, like, if he was having a seizure, his legs would have been going.
Right.
So I don't know, man.
I don't think it's an epileptic dog because it was at the Oscars and it was fine.
It was not at the fucking Oscars. Was it really?
Yeah. You haven't seen the GIFs?
I've seen like him sitting there and somebody
clapping.
Yeah, but I thought that was fake.
Well, okay. The hands were a guy laying under his chair with hands on
Messi was
stick.
at the Oscars? I didn't realize
Messi was at the
that.
Oscars.
That's so fucking
Do you
funny.
not know the controversy?
No.
Okay, so initially Messi was going to go, and everybody was excited.
Yeah.
And then news came out that Messi wasn't allowed to go because some of the nominees were offended and upset that a dog was going to be there, and felt that I forget what the line was, but it was something like it was going to like be currying favor with like the voters and stuff. Yeah, I know. And the rumor going around Twitter was that it was Bradley Cooper was jealous of Messi. And so people were like, Bradley Cooper is trying to kick Messi out of the Oscars.
Why him?
Just because he kind of got snubbed for Maestro. I think that's just like everyone just ran with that to be funny.
Seen Maestro.
That was the biopic that he made about Leonard Bernstein.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah. But yeah, there is a man laying under Messi's chair with like dog hands on sticks, so that when everyone was clapping, they could cut to the dog.
That's very
the dog
funny.
would be clapping along with them.
Gotcha. Anyways,
that was real. The dog was really at the Oscars.
Okay, the dog deserved to be there.
For
that performance alone. I've once again spent many years as a person who dealt with animals and animals with like issues, and that seeing him do that, like took me to a place.
Oof.
Yeah,
you're having your little Nom flashbacks.
Yeah,
like,
dude, I was like, oh my god. But anyways, yeah, it was rough. It was rough to watch. I'm glad that like obviously the dog didn't die in the movie or in real life.
Right.
But like, man, that was,
and it greatly upsets Daniel too. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's a hard scene to watch.
It is. It's rough, dude.
Yeah. But they're able to resuscitate the dog, and Daniel explains why he did it to his minder Marge, and that it proves to him that his dad was suicidal and that his mom was telling the truth.
That's right.
So at this point, Daniel decides he wants to testify in court before the closing arguments. I'm skipping a lot of the back and forth.
Yeah,
but like this is the important bits.
Yeah. Which, hold on, when he talks about his experiment, the fucking prosecutor's like, undocumented, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
To him, explaining what he did.
But when he explains that he wants to testify, he also asks his minder, Marge, who is like a live-in nanny kind of, because she's there to make sure that the mom doesn't like
influence him or
talk to him about the trial,
especially not in English.
She's not allowed to speak to him in English because the minder doesn't speak English, which it feels so wild to be like, I would be so offended. Like this whole thing is like they are railroading her. It's crazy,
100%.
But like on one hand, I get why they have to like give her, but man, it's so frustrating to just be like, you can't talk to your kid kind of thing.
I agree.
But anyway, Samuel decides he wants Sandra removed from the home for the weekend during the trial. So Sandra is removed from the home and stays at a hotel while the court-appointed caretaker stays with Samuel. During his testimony, Daniel states that he can believe his father would kill himself, not that his mother would have killed him, because his mother's claims about Samuel's previous attempt make sense to him. And he recalls a conversation he had with his father in a car one day that he wasn't sure how to interpret at the time, in which his father explains to him that he needs to be prepared for one day when the people that he loves die, and that it will be fine because his own life will still go on without them. Mm-hmm. And Daniel explains that he believes now that this was his father preparing him for his father's eventual suicide.
Yeah, because he was talking about Snoop, but it was not the dog.
Right. And also, it's implied that the father felt guilty because he knew that Snoop was acting this way because he had ate his vomit from the day he attempted suicide.
Yes, yeah.
Now, because of this testimony or not, Sandra is acquitted. And after a celebratory dinner party with her defense team, she returns home to Daniel. They both admit that they were afraid of the other returning home, but they embrace and head to bed. What a movie, man.
So good.
I skipped over a lot of the important details.
Especially the
fight scene.
The prosecutor being
the prosecucher is such an ass. One of the most infuriating.
The first thing he fucking brings up is like, oh yeah, she's bisexual, and they had a fight because she had a cute girl, single girl over at the house.
And like he's saying this while that woman is on the stand.
Yeah. And
she's like, excuse me.
I didn't, that was not what was going on. I'm like, but how can you tell? Really?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
God, the first judge that they have too is a real asshole.
Yeah.
And is like really wailing on Daniel for like misremembering, like hearing the argument earlier too. And you just feel so bad for the kid. I'm like, God damn, is this kid on fucking trial? Like, what the fuck?
They don't fucking play over in France, man.
Yeah. That's one of the big things about this film is like, it's making people evaluate like, wait, is the French legal system like fucking bananas? What is this?
They just say whatever. And
are there like no rules over there?
It's fucking crazy, dude.
It's the court system over there is just vibes. Like you can just yell out at all times.
I think
you can make accusations.
Yeah, just like, I think you're gay. And I'm going to make sure that everybody else in this room thinks you're gay too.
We're going to bring in your husband's psychologist and he's going to blame you for all of his faults.
That's right.
We're going to bring in what are the people? A blood splatter analysis.
Yeah.
That has like some wild ass theories.
Yeah, she hit his head all the way up here, and that's where the blood landed way down here.
Yeah, in this exact angle.
Are you fucking kidding me? And then the second
person that the defense team brings in makes way more sense. It's like, no, clearly he fell on this thing, and that's why there's blood there, and then the snow melted.
But is that a possibility that it actually was head trauma? Could you not? You can't rule out a possibility.
And she's like, it's possible that I could be president, but yeah, like this is what's plausible.
So it's plausible then.
Yeah.
All right, let's fucking go, baby.
It's so good.
It's so stupid. I remember like I got off my first flight and texted you being like, this guy fucking sucks.
Yeah.
As soon as we landed and I turned my phone off of airplane mode, I was like, I watched Anatomy of a Fall. I'm halfway through. Fuck the prosecutor. This guy sucks. He's the worst.
It's infuriating.
It is.
I had to watch this movie in like 3 parts because of the baby.
Word.
And like the movie doesn't really get going until after halfway.
Yeah.
And like, thank God, because I was like, what does everybody see in this movie? But once I got there, I was like, oh fuck, now we're fucking rolling.
Yeah, we're in it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God damn that prosecutor though. Good Lord.
He's the worst.
Okay, so this film's budget was $8 million.
Wow.
Just a little bit more than Blackberry.
Yeah.
But like, it's a courtroom drama. There's not a lot of money.
Sure.
and it grossed approximately $32 million
God
worldwide.
damn.
It's a
good
hit.
Good for them.
The fact that it's mostly in English too was like a big reason why I think it was like such a big hit even here.
I actually really enjoyed the reasoning.
Where it's jumping back and forth.
Why they spoke English. The two of them as a compromise.
I left this out in my description too, but like the main protagonist, Sandra, is German.
Yes, she's originally
she's
German.
living in France. She's
Correct.
being tried in France,
Yes.
and so she is a stranger in a strange land. It's her husband's country, and so she is uncomfortable speaking French. Like she knows it, but she's not comfortable enough to like speak it formally in court.
Right, and
so
she slips up a couple times.
Yeah, and even halfway through the trial, she's like, "I'm sorry, can I just?
I had to speak in English,
and everyone has to put in their little like interpreter ears,
Yeah.
headphones, so that they can listen to it.
Why couldn't they just do that?
Which and it makes it feel so much more like she's being railroaded, basically.
Yeah.
Like she's not in a country where she is from. She's had her son taken away from her, essentially. Like she's being accused of killing a man who was suicidal. Like it's so many things are happening. That fight is devastating too. The one that Samuel records that they play later in court.
Yeah.
And when at first it feels damning. It really does for Sandra. It really does at first. And then you realize like we aren't shown what is happening at the end when we hear the physical alteration.
Yeah.
But her explanation does make perfect sense. It doesn't make you have more questions. You know, like it's like, oh, okay, that kind of tracks. That is what it sounds like is happening there. And then you realize, why did he record this? And the defense pontificates that like it may have been because he was looking for content to write about. Yeah. And B, that he may have been an extra asshole in the recording to push her buttons and make her argue with him, because he is just bringing things up to just like piss her off.
Well, and they pointed out that he had been making recordings, like multiple recordings of completely different things, not just their conflicts and whatnot, as a means to possibly write his own book to gain
things to write about.
Inspiration, because I think he's taking a page out of her book, where a lot of her writings do have examples of stuff that's happened in her life. I mean, there's even that part where I think she's in a hotel room and there are two people on TV talking about her books, how like her first book is her dad, her second book is her mom. This book is, the thing that happened to her son, that kind of stuff.
But and I think she even says this herself, like your bibliography is not your autobiography, though. Like,
she says that about herself, because they tried to
you borrow things from your life, but that's not, it's not an autobiography. You're not writing, your true thoughts or feelings. You're just borrowing inspiration from it.
Goes to show that he's a mediocre writer.
Well,
and that's why he should have killed himself.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Just kidding.
The film holds a 96% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 90% audience score.
Hey, that's pretty good, dude. Once again, you'll never hear the BlackBerry episode, but hey, two movies that both were very good and earned their scores for sure,
and are loved by both audiences and critics.
We like that.
But I do feel like this movie and BlackBerry are like underseen, because when I talk about these movies to most people, they're giving me looks like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, this is when people are like, what are all these movies nominated for the Oscars? I haven't seen any of them. And it's like, well, you don't go outside of what's just on Netflix, like you're just watching the fucking...
You can't watch the next Marvel slot movie, even though that is exactly me, baby. I'm in the chair. I'm watching that slot.
Well, have you even seen the Marvels? Has anyone seen the Marvels?
I've been meaning to...
No one's seen the Marvels.
Hold on. I've been meaning to cut time out of my day to actually... Because I have Disney Plus.
It's been on Disney Plus for months
No,
now.
I know that. I'm very fucking aware, okay? I just haven't had the time. No, seriously.
You owe it to wokeness to watch
It's true.
the
I do. I don't like boobs. I like butts because I'm woke.
Oh, if only Sydney Sweeney would make a woke movie.
If only, if only she was in a show that was like The White Lotus, like a commentary on privileged people. It's crazy.
Critic David Rooney wrote of Anatomy of a Fall, an intricately layered, surgically controlled drama that operates as both a courtroom thriller and an investigation of the mysterious recesses of domestic life. The film is as chilly as its French Alpine setting, yet never distancing. Critic Wendy Ide wrote, ultimately, one of the key pleasures of the picture is its uncertainty, the niggling doubts that remain, and the sense that a crucial piece of the puzzle is tantalizingly out of place.
She really used the word niggling?
Yeah. I felt uncomfortable saying
Jesus Christ. All right. Anyways, continue.
On Letterboxd, user Amaya said of the film, "What if the husband was vibing too hard to that 50 Cent instrumental and just danced himself out of the window?"
Hey, you know what? That's not out of the fucking realm of possibility. You know, if I could possibly be president, then he absolutely could have accidentally killed himself to PIMP. He died doing what he loved, listening to that fucking song.
I mean, yeah, he just had it on repeat and
did.
at full volume.
And she said multiple times, he's like, he likes that song.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
always
She was like, "No,
playing
it's
it."
that song.
Yes.
It's just that song." Okay, I got some good shit for you
All right, let's
here.
hear it. Wait, hold on. You don't have a letterbox thing that talks about how cute Vincent is? We don't have another tweet commentary?
I didn't pull it, but
there was one. Guy, I fucking knew it.
It was like, "I am looking at the actor that plays Vincent in a way that concerns feminism."
Fantastic.
On set, Hewler
Yes,
Right?
Hewler.
Repeatedly asked the director and writer, Justine Triet, whether her character was guilty or not, but the director refused to answer her. Triet ended up instructing Hewler to play her character, Sandra, as innocent, which Triet later said was very sneaky, since Hewler did not have an answer. When a journalist asked Triet at the Golden Globes press room in January if Sandra did kill her husband, she replied, "I will tell you in 10 years.
I would tell you in 10 years.
Yep. She's calling her shot. They're making Anatomy of a Fall too.
Let's go. But she got acquitted. What the fuck? Is it going to be like they're going to...
Can't be charged with the same crime.
No, they can't.
She's going to kill a boyfriend. Oh,
No, hold on. She's gonna kill Daniel.
Oh, God.
The PIMP, the instrumental version.
Okay, so I love that you brought that back up to tie that back in.
Uh-oh.
PIMP was not the first song choice for the movie.
Which was the first song choice?
It was meant to be Dolly Parton's Jolene.
Oh,
But Dolly Parton,
that's too on the nose. Dolly Parton had a problem with it?
Dolly Parton's team did not give rights in time for the film.
Oh, okay.
Specific dialogue scenes that analyzed the lyrics had to later be removed from the film.
Damn, because I was going to say, that's way too on the nose.
Yeah.
Too, because like...
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
I think that's also why they decided to go with like the steel drum Caribbean instrumental version.
I think it's a better.
A, because it was probably cheaper, and B, it's funnier.
It is significantly funnier.
Justine Triet's acceptance speech for the Palme d'Or. This film did win. I think we referenced it at the beginning of the episode, but the film won the Palme d'Or last year at the Cannes Film Festival. But her acceptance speech was very critical of the French government's cultural policies and its violent response to the pension reform demonstrations. This caused quite a stir in France and was received very coldly by the French government.
Fuck them.
Yeah. When time came to announce the French submission for the Academy Award for Best International Feature Film, everyone assumed Anatomy of a Fall would naturally be selected, as it had all the attributes of a great submission: a critically acclaimed movie with very impressive box office, a prestigious Palme d'Or, and all the recognition that comes with it, and a lot of English dialogue, making it an easy sell in the North American market.
Yeah.
A serious yet modern subject, great performances, etc. So when The Taste of Things was instead selected as the submission from France, many people suspect that Justine Triet was being punished for her speech against the government.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But so that was... I thought that Anatomy of a Fall won something.
It was nominated in other categories.
Okay.
Like Best Adapted Screenplays.
But not Best Picture.
I believe Sandra Hüller may have won something.
Yeah.
Don't have it in front of me.
Sure.
But that was not because it was submitted by France as Best International Picture.
Interesting.
Yeah. That is actually chosen by each country. Dude,
fuck the French government. Fuck them.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. Don't hold wages from your fucking workers.
Yeah. I love, it is a thing that gets brought up a lot on the internet, but like, it is amazing how quickly the French are ready to fucking
at the drop of a hat.
Like, just fucking go to town with cops, with the government, with businesses in the streets. Like, the second, like, oh, the cops shot a kid, or, oh, they're going to like raise the retirement age. Like, oh, they're like taking away a vacation day. Like, everybody stop working, go in the streets right now. We're fucking protesting. We
really could learn something from them.
We truly, we give the French a lot of shit, but like, we also have a lot to learn from them.
They're brave.
Yeah. Now, Marge, the court-appointed caretaker for Daniel, the minder that I keep referencing, is played by Jenny Beth, who was well known as the frontwoman of Savages, an excellent French punk rock band from the mid-2010s. They have since broken up.
Oh, that's cool.
You might know one of their songs. It's called Husbands.
Okay.
It plays during the credits in Ex Machina.
Oh, you serious?
Yeah. French punk rock
I
song.
don't
It's so
remember the credits of that movie. To be totally honest with you, it's been a hot minute since I've watched Ex Machina.
Yeah.
But there is no reason for me not to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
I love that band, and I remember watching that film, and then when it cuts to the credits and that song plays up,
Yeah.
I remember looking at Jason and being like, "Oh, I love this fucking song."
Nice.
I had no idea that was her the whole movie, though.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I didn't recognize her. I don't know what they look like. I've only heard them on the radio.
Sure.
But I thought that was so cool. That band
That's
broke up in like 2017, unfortunately.
Oh, that's a bummer.
But they're awesome.
Unfortunate. So Jared, since we've got another like 15 minutes to kill, do you want to talk about the Oscars?
Yeah, fuck it. Let's talk about the Oscars.
I think we should talk about the Oscars. Because me and you've been actually talking about the Oscars for like 2 months now. Ever since they showed the films that were nominated and having a little bit of a discourse on what's fair and what isn't. I know it's very lib of me to be like, oh, Margot Robbie should have gotten nominated for Best Lead Actress for Barbie or Greta Gerwig, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Which I still think that Greta should have at least gotten nominated, but that's fine. I'm not going to die on that hill.
They didn't even win like production design, which everyone was like, oh, surely Barbie's getting that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I was like shocked by that. And obviously Ryan Gosling didn't win Best Supporting Actor for Ken.
Yeah.
Which what's your opinion on that one?
I mean, I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet.
You know what's really funny?
I am glad Nolan.
Hold on.
But it swept?
You know what's really funny is I remember last night when Godzilla won, and I was like, oh, I guess this is happening tonight. Let me go take a look at what's going on. And I saw that Robert Downey Jr. got Best Supporting Actor, and I thought to myself, has Jared watched Oppenheimer yet? It's been a whole fucking week since we've talked. There's no reason why he shouldn't have watched it.
I put that movie in my PlayStation. I put the Blu-ray in the PlayStation.
Yeah.
I think a month and a half ago.
God damn.
I watched 30 minutes of it and then had to turn it off because like the baby got upset or something, and I just never returned to it.
Okay. So then
it feels like a commitment because it's so long.
Sure. But like we watched Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
Not only did we watch
that was an
film,
ordeal. That was a whole weekend though, for me. Killers of the Flower Moon. That was not a simple task.
Not only did we watch that movie, but we fucking talked about that movie.
I understand.
Now I've seen Oppenheimer. Partially because I thought we were going to talk about it.
We should.
Yeah. But
it's the only Christopher Nolan film I haven't seen now.
That's crazy, dude.
That includes his student film Following.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I know.
But like, yeah, it's wild. So the Oscars.
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
We give them too much credit.
Okay.
I mean, but like that's the problem. Like they are cool because like it's movie's big night. It's the stars' night to shine, to quote Scott Aukerman.
Oh my God. Okay.
But I tend to agree more with like the Independent Spirit Awards and like the Saturn Awards. I feel like their picks are more in line with my movie taste.
Sure.
But like, I mean, the Oscars are what they are. You know what I mean? And like when
they're a juggernaut.
Yeah, exactly. They take up so much space. Like they suck up all the air out of the room.
Yeah.
Because like when an actor or director wins an Oscar, like it's like, well, that's the peak. Like there's no more prestigious award.
Mm-hmm.
But like they have that prestige because of why? Like because we give it to them.
Sure.
So like it's one of those like we're doomed to repeat this over and over because like everyone says this every year. They're like, oh, it's the Oscars, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But like it's the big deal because we make it a big deal. Like it's the most watched awards program. It is prestigious for a reason.
Sure,
people treat them seriously.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, they've been fucking up for years, and like they frequently fuck up. But
so what do you mean by that? What do you mean by they frequently fuck up? What do you mean by that?
like picking things that shouldn't have won. Both people and things. You know what I mean?
Example.
This year specifically?
Yeah, sure. Let's just do this year. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it Lily?
Okay.
Is it Lily Gladstone?
Again, I can't talk too much about Poor Things because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I'm watching it tonight.
But I widely think that a lot of people were like, really? Emma Stone won for this.
Even
Like,
Emma Stone was, as you told me,
yeah, she
shocked.
looks mortified.
Yeah.
when it's announced, she looks seriously mortified, and then she kind of buries her face in her husband when she embraces him, and I'm sure she's whispering in his ear like, "Oh fuck," because she's already won for La La Land, deservedly.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Did she need another win? Number one, and like that's where you get kind of political about it too.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Lily could have gone for Best Supporting Actress, but
Mhm.
I think she purposely posited herself for best lead actress
Yeah.
for a reason. Even though that movie does not give her enough to do.
Yeah.
It's not her fault, though.
As you
Right.
accurately pointed out when we talked about this film, she did not have a lot of speaking roles, but she did not need to speak because she says so much with just a look.
Exactly. She actually doesn't have a lot of screen time, but she does so much with when
What
she's
she's given.
on screen.
Yeah.
So it almost is category fraud in a way, but like that's how you play the game too.
Sure.
And I think part of that was a play in itself to say that like, no, I am the best lead actress in this film, because like no female actress in that film has a more screen time than her. Anyway.
Yeah.
And it's the film's own fault that it fails her. It doesn't give her enough to do.
Sure.
But I feel like everyone was like, oh, she's going to win it for sure.
Yeah. Who else was in that category other than her and Emma Stone?
That's a good point. Let's bring up the nominees for actress in a leading role. The nominees are Emma Stone for Poor Things, Annette Bening for Nyad, which no one saw. Don't fucking tell me
I
you saw
don't
that
even
movie.
know what that is.
It's on my app. I can watch it if I want. Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall. Honestly, like, wouldn't have been mad if she won that one, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
With you. Carrie Mulligan for Maestro. I don't think
I didn't see that one.
No one was calling for Carrie to win that one, though. Love to her, but like that wasn't the movie.
Sure, yeah.
Now, let's move on to something. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to speak on Lily?
Putting her in the same category as Sandra Hüller after watching Anatomy of a Fall.
Yeah.
That's a different cut right there.
Do you
man.
just mean she, like, maybe Sandra was more deserving, or should she have been put in
Sandra was
supporting?
the leading role. I think maybe Lily Gladstone should have been in the supporting.
Yeah, I can totally see that argument. Yeah, and I think it was an intentional play.
It
Though.
was bold.
Yeah. Now let's move on to actress in a supporting role,
Yeah.
because I'm not mad about this one at all. I don't think anybody is. I think everyone saw this coming. The nominees were Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer.
Sure.
Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple.
Didn't see that.
America Fiera for Barbie.
Right.
And Jodie Foster for Nyad. Nyad.
Which nobody saw. Yeah.
Nobody saw Nyad. I'm sorry.
That's right. I forgot Divine
Joy Randolph
Yeah,
won
she
that
won
one.
that one.
Deservedly so.
She was the best part of that movie.
I think everyone called that.
Yeah.
Yeah. in a
I
heartbeat.
remember seeing that and being like, "Oh fuck, good
Yeah.
for her." I loved her in that film. She was so good.
I should preface, although we're very late into this,
Yeah.
I did not watch the Oscars. I just
neither.
got the recaps from
Same.
everybody.
Yeah.
So that's when I quote something that happened, I just saw it in a recap.
I was like 6 hours deep in my commission. So I was just popping in every so often to watch the list get updated.
Yeah. I know that she was in tears, and so was Paul Giamatti when she was giving her acceptance speech.
Yeah.
And you love to see it.
You love to see it.
adorable.
Good for them.
Also, do you know about Paul Giamatti's love of In-N-Out Burger?
I remember it was a different awards thing.
Yes. And he went
to
straight
In-N-Out,
to
yeah.
In-N-Out. At the Oscars, he had cufflinks that had In-N-Out Burger on them.
Yeah. Fantastic.
I love that. What a man of the people, right?
I know.
Now, animated feature film. You
I
wanna jump into
heard
that
about
one?
this. Yeah.
The nominees were The Boy and the Heron by Hayao Miyazaki.
I still need to see it.
Elemental. Wait, no, it
No.
did not deserve that. Nimona, which I'm not familiar with.
Okay, so
I've heard of this.
I could have done a half an hour on how this movie is the little movie that could.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm glad that I got nominated.
Okay. Robot Dreams. Not even heard of this one.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one.
And then Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Which was a really good movie.
And of course, The Boy and the Heron one.
Yes.
And also Hayao Miyazaki fucking was like, I'm not going. Fuck him.
really? He wasn't there?
Both times he's won Oscars, he's like, I'm not going.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You see the guy who voices Miles Morales in Spider-Man like tweeted "rubed"
or robed instead of robbed.
And then he tweeted a correction, robbed.
Okay, I saw someone tweeted robed by accident.
Yeah, it was him.
That's funny.
Which, like, I mean, the movie was good and it's very stylized.
Yeah,
but Hayao Miyazaki, dude, that's hand animated, bro.
Yeah,
it always looks like butter.
I think the fact that it's supposedly his final film too, like,
oh, it's not gonna be his fucking last movie.
That's what I said too,
dude. Hayao Miyazaki is going to die, and a movie is going to come out 5 years later, and they're gonna fucking wheel him out in a as a robot, like a fucking.
He's like Kojima, like he's like, this is my last one. This is my last one. This is my last one.
You know it isn't.
I'm glad you were on the same opinion because I went off about that too.
He's been the last one for like the last 15 fucking years.
I remember when I was like, did I misremember this?
Dude, I remember.
Wasn't The Wind Rises supposed to be the end too?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember like me and Haley were at her mom's house. We were living in her mom's house, and we watched the film that was done by his son because supposedly his last movie was done, and that movie sucked so much ass that Hayao Miyazaki had to come out of fucking retirement to get everybody back on track.
It was an insult to life itself.
Yes,
as he said.
As he said, yeah. God damn. Okay, sorry.
I mean, there's not a lot to say here, but actor in a leading role. The nominees were Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer, Bradley Cooper.
Don't fucking
Cillian.
say Cillian.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I will.
I've been doing that for my whole life.
I'm gonna call my Irish ancestors out from the fucking.
Listen, there's a chance I'm more Irish than you too.
There's a good possibility, but
I have no right to be doing that. I know.
God, right, keep going.
I've been doing that since 28 weeks later too.
That's crazy, dude.
Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Coleman Domingo for Rustin, which I really want to see. I hadn't heard anything about Rustin, and then I found out it is about like a guy who was in the civil rights protests with MLK, but has kind of been ignored or pushed to the side of history because he was gay.
Oh,
yeah, it sounds fascinating.
Dude, Pride Month. Let's fucking go.
That's true.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. I have 3 people I really love for this, and then one I have not even seen the movie for. Actually 2 because I didn't see Oppenheimer either. And of course, Cillian Murphy won.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy won it, which is like,
I think. Dude, I'm not mad about it.
No, I'm not either because like, let's be real, right?
He hasn't been recognized for a long time, and he's been killing it.
I was just about to say that. Like, Cillian Murphy has been in movies, but he hasn't been in like giant movies, or if he is in a giant movie, he's not like a big role, right?
Yeah.
The one that comes to mind is him as Scarecrow in The Batman Begins.
Yeah,
you know, or 28 Days Later. But 28 Days Later came out millions of years ago, and now
28 Days Later is too much of a genre film to get him nominated.
Sure, and then we've got Inception. He wasn't the lead guy.
Oh no!
Yeah, you know he was like the plot device was him.
Yeah,
and then like you see him on Peaky Blinders. He does like a lot of TV stuff.
Yeah,
and then out of nowhere he comes out like, yeah, I'm going to be fucking Oppenheimer, and he kills it. He kills it.
I feel like maybe his only other Oscar play was like The One That Shakes the Barley. I don't think that movie got nominated for fucking shit.
I've never even heard of that movie.
That's because I'm more Irish than you, buddy.
That's true. You are
the IRA.
You saw Banshees of Inisherin, and I haven't. So
wait, you still haven't?
I haven't. I know. I'm gonna kill myself after this episode. So.
At least cut off a finger and throw it at me. Visual effects. And the nominees for visual effects are Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
The Creator. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Napoleon. And the winner was Godzilla -1. Well deserved.
Although I will say,
yes.
I haven't seen Napoleon. I remember us talking. Like
I can see the case for The Creator.
Yes. Okay. So here's what I wanted to say, right? Because I saw Godzilla when I was like, oh hey, that's really cool. And then I looked at the list and I was like, oh, The Creator's on there.
Yeah.
I specifically remember me and you talking about that movie and being like, yeah, it's fucking gorgeous.
And it does a lot for a little. It was like 80 million, I think, was the budget.
Yes.
And there are people like on Twitter now that are like, how the fuck did they make this movie for 80 million? Like, what is Marvel doing with their $300 million?
Do you see Dune?
Plus?
Dune is another good example.
Yes.
Like it's way cheaper and
like, well, I believe in Denny. Like,
oh, sure.
That guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, of course he knows what he's doing.
And like, he still like took an army to the fucking desert too, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I heard him on Fresh Air
dude,
talking about filming that movie. I'm so excited.
That movie's so good.
I know. I need to rewatch the first one and then
may your
find
blade
some
chip
time.
and shatter.
May thy blade chip and shatter.
Oh, you know about that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Twitter has spoiled a lot.
God
for me.
damn it! It was so good. I remember when you said it.
I'm pretty sure Sting does that in the original too, though.
I don't give a shit if he does or not. The way that Fade says it is like,
Yeah.
he's like so.
Is
taken
Austin
aback.
Butler like killing it?
Austin Butler is the best thing about that movie, and I'm not even kidding you. I'm not.
That's
fucking,
high praise for
Bro.
a movie filled with.
Okay, hold on.
Wow.
So you know how I was telling you about? I played the War for Arrakis game at Gamma.
Yeah.
Fade Rotha is one of the characters that you can get, but you don't get to start with him.
Yeah.
But his card was sitting on the table, and I turned to the guy, and I said to him, "How the fuck do I get Austin Butler? Tell me how I get Austin Butler on the fucking field." And the first card I drew let me kill Rabba. Fucking what is his name? The big guy,
Baron Harkonnen.
No, I love
Harkonnen?
him. I love him. The other one, he's the wrestler.
Oh, David Bautista's character?
The card let me kill David Bautista's character to put Fade Rotha onto the fucking table. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm playing Austin Butler. He was the best thing about that fucking movie. It is crazy. I was like going into that film. I was going into that film knowing that he's like, oh, I can't stop talking about it, like Elvis, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, how in the fuck is he going to butcher this role?
Yeah.
And god damn it, he kills the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so good.
Apparently him and Timothy really got along on this film too.
You could tell.
Yeah.
You could tell. Like there's only like one scene where they like really get to interact with each other.
Yeah.
And it was like, they were pulled together by the string of fate. It was so good. God damn it.
Back to Godzilla real fast.
Sorry, yeah,
Did you
Godzilla's-
see that the people that went to accept the award were
Brought a golden Godzilla, didn't they?
that, and he had a little bow tie, but they were also all wearing shoes.
Yeah, they
with
were wearing the
Godzilla
shoes.
claws.
That's right.
So cool. So many people were like, "Where the fuck do I buy these?"
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I'm seriously, Jared, I'm so happy that they won.
I misspoke earlier. I kept thinking Anatomy of a Fall won Best Adapted Screenplay. That was actually American Fiction.
Have you seen that?
Yes, I loved it.
Which one was that again? What was that movie about?
Okay. It is about a guy
Yes.
who he's a novelist, right?
Okay.
And he just like, no one's buying his books.
Yeah.
And so he decides to reinvent himself and pretend to be like a hard dude from the ghetto, like from the streets.
Sure.
And he's like, I came from like a hard life, like, you know, like my dad shot my mom and all this shit. And like, and all I know is like selling drugs and shooting people. And so he writes like an autobiography from that perspective.
Yeah.
And it sells like hotcakes. And he's offended by it. He's like, I'm just proving that everybody loves trash and they don't have real taste.
Sure.
You know, and he's like this, and then he finds out like his girlfriend is like really into the book, and he like gets into a fight with her about it. And he's like, this is trash. He's like, this is, you know, American society, like, you know, devastating black communities and then selling it back to us as fiction. And he gets, and it like infuriates him.
Yeah.
And it like, and then meanwhile he's having like personal turmoil at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't want to give any more than that because it's like,
would you recommend?
yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was a great time, and it's actually a comedy.
Really?
Yeah. It's really funny, and it's Jeffrey Wright, like, and Sterling K. Brown, but like a very minor role to be honest with you. Like, I feel like it's overblown how much of a role he has in this movie.
Yeah.
But Jeffrey Wright, like, I will watch anything that guy is in. He is so good.
Okay.
But
check it out.
it was really good. I was very like the trailer sold me, and then I watched it and I was like so pleasantly surprised. There's also a somewhat similar film coming out soon that I want to watch called The Society of Magical Negroes.
Yes, I've heard of it.
It looks so funny. I can't wait to see
I like
that.
Justice Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love, he pops up in all kinds of great stuff now.
Yeah.
Okay. Original screenplay was Anatomy of a Fall.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then anything else? Okay. So I do want to touch on this. So best sound was Zone of Interest, which I have expressed some skepticism.
Yes.
But I got to give this movie credit and the director. God, what is his fucking name? I'm blanking on it.
That's
right
a good
now.
question. You said it in the last episode.
I did. It's not Alex Garland. I get him confused with Alex Garland all the time.
Dude, that next Alex Garland movie is gonna fucking rule.
I'm not watching Civil War.
You motherfucker! I want to talk about it. Are you kidding me? Jared, are you serious right now?
It just looks so dumb.
Fuck
it's Jesse
you.
Plemons like, what kind of American are you?
Yes. He's wearing the dumb stunner shades. It's great.
Okay. Jonathan Glazer,
Sure.
the director of Zone of Interest.
This is the guy that you always mix up between.
I always mix
How
up
the
with
fuck
Alex
do you
Garland.
do that?
But when he went up to accept the award for best sound design,
That's right.
he made a statement that was pro-Palestine. I don't have it in front of me.
Yes.
It's getting some pushback by, of course, the people that would push back on this sort of
yeah.
thing.
They're saying he's a unfaithful Jew.
Yeah. But he basically went up there and was like, we cannot let people like use what's happening in Gaza like as an excuse because of Jewishness. He's like, we have to have a ceasefire now. Like too many people have died since October 7th.
Yeah.
It was a very good, like concise speech. He did a lot with the time he was given without overstaying his welcome or staging a full-on protest on stage.
Yeah.
And the real shame is that more people didn't say something similar, really. But I thought it was perfect. And I'm glad that he used his time
platform
while accepting an award for a movie about the Holocaust.
Oh, yeah.
To bring reference to this. And it pissed off a lot of people that honestly like need to do some reflecting about it. But that's neither here nor there for this podcast.
Good on him.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I want to call attention to that. I've expressed skepticism about even seeing that movie because like I understand
I want to see it.
Why it's important.
You know I want to see it. I
just don't know if I want to sit through that.
I love pain.
But I love what he did with his statement.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful thing to do. I don't see any other categories. Production design was Poor Things, which from the stills and trailers I've seen of that film, like it looks like it has interesting set design, but like, man, I thought Barbie was a shoo-in. I think everybody thought Barbie was a shoo-in for that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Of course, Oppenheimer won Best Picture. I think I didn't even reference that because I think everyone knows that by now. What would you have picked over that?
Best Picture?
Yeah. Any of these nominees? You want me to read them out to you?
Yeah, read them out to me again.
The nominees for Best Picture were Oppenheimer, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, the movie we just fucking talked about, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Past Lives, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest.
It would be Killers of the Flower Moon.
Really?
Yes. And I watched both that movie and Oppenheimer within a week of each other.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed Oppenheimer.
Right.
I did. And I liked how, the character of Oppenheimer is like very conflicted, pushing the boundaries of science while also realizing the once the cat is out of the box, it never goes back in. I loved how, the American government used him as a hero until he was no more useful. And that whole thing at the end about him being like a secret communist, even though he isn't. All that stuff was really interesting. That being said, Killers of the Flower Moon, I felt had a better message to show. It was about something that, isn't glorified in our history. It's almost like not even talked about. The performances in that film were great. The subject matter was interesting. It was well acted. Like I don't know. I liked that movie more. And once again, we have talked about that film. We have not talked about Oppenheimer. Like I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's kind of crazy that there were so many different nominations for that for Killers of the Flower Moon, and they did not win a single thing.
Nope.
And we talked before we even recorded this about how Scorsese has gotten nothing since 2006.
Mm-hmm. And even then, I think that was his first Academy Award.
Yeah, and he's had 16 films that have had nominations and has only gotten it once. It is the craziest thing. I don't understand it. Wild.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Speaking of that, about being frequently snubbed by the Oscars, Wes Anderson actually won for his a short film that he made, Henry Sugar, for Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And
has Wes Anderson not won an Oscar ever?
Oh, you don't know? He is so frequently snubbed by the Oscars.
Okay, well, first off, Wes Anderson's not a great. I'm just messing with you. Chill out. But like, do you feel like his auteurness is too off-putting for?
No, because it's the Oscars. They love shit like that.
I don't know,
That's
man.
what I don't. No one can understand it. They're like, does the Academy just have it out for him? Because like, it's so weird. Yeah, I'm trying to pull up like what all he's won.
Yeah. That's crazy, dude.
He wasn't even there either. He like,
why would he be?
He's like, I'm not going. Yeah. Well, because he's lost so many times.
Yeah, I was like, was none of his stuff nominated anyways? I I don't remember if anything from this most recent film.
It was his first ever Oscar.
Oh, wow.
Ever.
It was
Yeah.
a short film on Netflix.
He's been nominated before.
Sure, yeah.
And everyone thought for sure Grand Budapest was going to get something.
That's the one I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
everybody
no.
was talking about.
It didn't even make, he won. And the thing is, he made a full length film and like 4 or 5 different shorts this year. And his full length film, Asteroid City, one of his best, wasn't even nominated for anything this year. And he won for his short film.
That sucks.
And it's like, and the other thing is like his short film, he made a bunch of them at once and they all came out like back to back.
Sure, yeah.
And they make more sense like as a piece too. So it's like even more infuriating that those won.
That's funny. You know what a real snub is? Why Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon was not nominated. That's fucked up, dude.
Did it? Oh, was it last year? I guess it was Christmas Day or something,
Yeah,
right?
it was.
Yeah, so it was just under the radar.
It was my birthday, buddy.
Oh, it has to come out in theaters though. It doesn't qualify.
Well, I was just being silly, so
Yeah.
'cause
Well,
that movie was fucking trash.
Yeah, we know. The movies hate the Oscars hate. I was gonna make some stupid. It's not even worth the breath.
It's
Now.
not.
I was gonna
It's
make a
not.
bad joke. It sucked.
Cool. I think we're good now.
Yeah, I think it's time for my outro.
Fuck the Oscars. Oscars so white.
The Oscars.
Ain't nobody got slapped in this one either. Damn.
I know. What a shame. Although we did see John Cena's butt.
Hell yeah, dude. Let's go. Did you really see it though?
Yeah,
You can't see
it's
it.
caked up.
Dude, you can't see it.
Well, folks, that's been our show. Thank you for listening to Debaser. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to us on your podcast app and follow us on social media by searching for @DebaserPod. My wonderful co-host is Will Taylor. Will, where can people find you? And would you like to plug anything?
You can find me at pocket_infinity on Instagram. And also, since this is the episode that's coming out instead of BlackBerry, because we've lost that one to the ether.
The sands of time.
I will be at Adepticon the week that this drops. I'll be at the GW booth. If you listen and you are also there, come by the store. Say hi. Love to see you. We can take a picture in front of the Terminator.
The Terminator. Oh, the Warhammer Terminator.
Yeah, his name is Arnold, though. We did name him Arnold.
Does he need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle?
No, he's got all that because he's fully decked out in armor.
Nice. All right, well, that's a wrap, everybody. Good night and good luck. Debaser is hosted and produced by Will Taylor and Jared Rusk. Want to email the show? Send it to podcast@debaserpod.com. Want to help us out? Please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice, especially Apple Podcasts. If you write a 5-star review of Debaser on Apple Podcasts, I may read your review in a future episode. Thanks for listening, and take care out there.